Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. I proposed to my ex wife today. She said no. She thinks I'm after my money. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Space Marine Adventures Tyranid Attack from Warhammer. In Space Marine Adventures Tyranid Attack from Warhammer Games Workshop, 1 to 4 players take on the roles of Space Marines as they attempt to battle those evil Tyranids and bring peace and order to the galaxy. That's what they're all about, right? Justice? No? Now, there are 5 Space Marines in the game. They belong to the different orders, and they're represented by the different colors here. You're only going to play with 4 of them in any given game. Now, the game plays out in roughly a 3-phase campaign, but of course, you can just play the individual scenarios however you want to play it. But what you're going to do when you play an individual game is you put out a board. You essentially just pick a board that you put out there, and you attach kind of the docking space there that can hold the 4 Space Marines, their figures, as they are preparing to move into the Space Hulk. You've got various numbers on the board, and you're going to draw kind of the Tyranids, the basic Tyranids, and put them out on those spaces at the beginning of the game. Now, you're going to have, as I say, the individual Space Marines, and each of them have their own unique special abilities or player powers or what have you. And then you're going to draw special cards. Each one of them is going to get a special card. There's one of them, I think it's 2. Now, some of these special cards are specific to certain Marines. Others anybody can have. But there's all sorts of different things. You get like med kits. You can get grenades. You can get things that give you extra activations and stuff like that. There's all sorts of things you can get. You select those at the beginning of the game, and they're generally speaking going to be one-time use at some point in the game. Now, you're going to create the activation deck. So each of the Space Marines has 2 activation cards. You're going to shuffle them together with the 4 Tyranid activation cards, and you're going to place those off to the side. Next, you're actually going to have your mission. Now, your mission, this is going to be level 1 mission, level 2 mission, level 3 mission, depending on what you're doing or playing the campaign. You're going to go ahead and look at the mission card, and it's going to give you specifically what you need to do. Go to a certain place, activate a computer, do something else. It's going to tell you what you need to do for that mission. Then you're going to have the infestation deck, which you're going to shuffle. So you begin the game by drawing a card off the activation deck. This is either going to be a Marine or a Tyranid. If you draw a Marine, you're going to go ahead and get a number of actions that you see on their data card. It's going to say if they get 3 or 4 whatever actions on their turn. Now, for actions, they can move. They can move through other Marines, but they can't, of course, stop on the same space. They cannot move through Tyranids, but they can go ahead and they can move as many movement spaces as you want with your actions. But you can also attack. Now, each Space Marine has a range, how far they can shoot, and essentially you are rolling a die. Now, your enemies, the Tyranids, depending on what kind of Tyranid they are, a Gene Stealer or whatever, they're going to have a number. If your die roll equals or exceeds that number, then they're dead. You simply take them off the board and put them into the bag. That token off the board, put it into the bag. Now, there may be some other actions you can take that are specific to that mission. Now, when you draw a Tyranid activation, it is going to tell you where to place a new Tyranid based on the numbers. If that number is empty, you reach into the bag, you pull out a Tyranid, and you put it on that empty number. However, if that empty number already has a Tyranid on it, then you're going to place it next to the Tyranid until you go to a straight wall. Then you're done. You don't have to fill out. If you draw that again, you don't have to put out any more. They only go to the walls. Now, if a Space Marine is in a space where a Tyranid would need to be placed, either on a number or next to Tyranids, and you get the chain reaction there, your Space Marine, you flip his data card to the wounded side. So now he is wounded. That may have some implications in the game. But critically, if he gets wounded again, he is defeated, he is out of the game, and then you have one less Marine in order to help you defeat the Tyranids. Now, in the first scenario, you're actually trying to get to the computer and activate it. Once you activate it, you can go ahead and find out where the essentially the exit is. You're flipping over kind of these bulkheads, whichever one is green, you place the kind of exit docking platform there, and then you've got to get all of your guys out. So that's essentially how you're trying to measure your success in that mission. If you've got all of your guys out there, it's, great success, or depending on the number you get, that's going to mark essentially how successful you are in that scenario. But if you can go ahead and fulfill the scenario requirements for victory, then you win! Space Marine Adventures, Tyranid Attack. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. Space Marine Adventures, Tyranid Attack. Several years ago, I was in Texas, and they sent me Labyrinth of the Necrons, Space Marine Adventures Labyrinth of the Necrons. That has always been my favorite boxed Space Marine adventure game. I think I played all of them, or nearly all of them, and that was always my favorite. It's a simple system, it's fun, and I always enjoyed playing it solo. I think I played it occasionally with other people, and it's fine, but to me, this is just a super solo game. I've loved that. Well, this new one, Tyranid Attack, is essentially the same game. A few other little bells and whistles here, but the system's almost identical. It's almost identical. It's almost a reskin. Now, what's cool is there are advanced cards and advanced play, and I haven't done any of the advanced play with this one. I had with Necrons, Labyrinth of the Necrons. I haven't with this one yet, so I don't know how much that differs, but basically the game feels very much like it's the same, just with a new reskin, which is a good thing, because Labyrinth of the Necrons, I've still got my copy, but I don't think it's in print anymore. So I've always been saying to people, it's such a great game, you need to play it. And so I'm glad this one's back in print. Now, I got to tell you, I love the theme. I'm not somebody that really plays the Warhammer miniatures game. I played it before, I liked it, but it's just not one of my favorite games to play. If I had a friend that had a lot of it and said, you want to play? Absolutely. But it's nothing I think I'd ever really get into myself. I'm not a painter, and I think that's a big part of it. I'm not a painter. But I love these boxed games, some more than others. I played some that weren't that great, but I think most of them are pretty good. And Labyrinth of the Necrons, I thought, was excellent. And Tyranid Attack is excellent. Like I say, it's pretty much the same game, but it's a great game. And I will probably hang on to both copies here, because I love it. I love the Warhammer theme. I mean, I love that universe. I've read several of the books. I just like that grim, dark universe. It's fun. It's scary. And I like this game because the claustrophobic element. When I was, in my early 20s, I had on my PC and later on PlayStation 1, I had the Space Hulk video game where you're sending your Space Marines down and you're fighting Tyranids down the corridors and hallways. And it was a scary game. That was always such a scary game. And I loved that. And it was tense. And this game recreates that. Now, obviously, it's not perfect, but I still get that claustrophobic sense in this game. I still get that tension of, are these guys going to take out my Marines? And it's fun. And it is quick. This is not a long game, about a half an hour. But it's just tremendous fun. I love Space Marine Adventures Tyranid Attack. I think it's a fantastic game. I'm going to go ahead on the Cody scale. I'm saying 8 out of 10. Again, would be a decent cooperative game. I guess it is a decent cooperative game. But to me, this is such a good solo game. The vast majority of times I play this game has been solo, and I have a ball every time I play it. Great fun. Well, thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, I ask you to please check us out on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter. I would ask you to please like and subscribe to this video and our channel. That would mean a lot to us here. And also, too, if you could please give us a thumb on Board Game Geek for this video, that would also help us out a lot as well. If you like this channel, please check out my other channel. That is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, military history, books on history. I even post some of my lectures on that channel. Please check that out. Please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And if you really do enjoy the content we bring you here on The Discriminating Gamer, I would humbly ask you to click on the Super Thanks button and leave a tip. How do you tie a spaceship to the dock? With an astronaut.